Okay, so today I want to go over the top 5 things that I wish I had known when I started lifting. Let's get into it. So the first one that I'm going to go over with is properly fueling your lifts. So specifically, especially if you're someone who lifts in the morning, but even if you lift at other times throughout the day, you want to kind of try and put your carbs around your workout to fuel your workout, because carbs are a fuel source for your body. So typically, this is my breakfast literally every day. I've had this pretty much every day for the last 6 months. Yes, I'm sure there was a couple days in there where it was something different, but this is the breakfast every day. It is some scrambled eggs. I do 2 eggs, 2 egg whites, just because eggs are expensive right now. And then, so obviously there isn't really any carbs there, but my carbs are all the honey on top of here and the strawberries, and then it's just some Greek yogurt underneath it. So this is my breakfast every day. And for me, this is high in protein. So that's obviously good for being in the gym, building muscle, things like that. But I also have the carb sources over here to give me energy for my lifts, because I've said this a few times before, but I used to just do eggs for breakfast and I would leave the gym. And obviously you're physically exhausted because you just worked out, but I was mentally exhausted, like just so drained. And I realized it was because I literally just wasn't having carbs. I wasn't properly fueling my workout. So that's the first tip. And just trying to properly fuel yourself and just eating whole foods mostly. I'd say try, just like, if you don't eat a lot of whole foods, just try and switch over like one part of each meal or something. Like, start slow, work up, but try and eat mostly whole foods. You'll just feel better, be more properly fueled. Your body will actually understand how to process those things. And yeah, so you want to properly fuel your lifts. So the second one that I'm gonna say right now is also consistency. And the reason I'm saying this right now while showing you my breakfast is because, as I said, I eat this pretty much every single day. I stay consistent with it. I have a relatively consistent training time. And just being consistent, but the consistency more for most people is just actually showing up. You have to be disciplined enough to get yourself to just show up to the gym, even when you don't want to go. Like today, I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of impartial about going to the gym today. Like, I'm not really in the mood to. If it was a rest day, I wouldn't really be upset that I don't get to lift today. Like, not one of those days. But I'm still going to go. And today I actually have 2 days. I have 2 workouts today. I'm gonna have to do a cardio workout, which is probably gonna be a sprinting workout, along with my lift. I don't know if we do them back to back or later, whatever. But it's just showing up of like, if your plan is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday workout, Sunday rest day, then that's your plan. Like, you're going to go to the gym on those days. It's just sticking consistent to your plan that will allow you to achieve your best goals. Because if you show up for 3 weeks consistently and then take a 2-week break and then show up for 2 weeks and take a month break, like, you're just not really going to see any results that way. You might not lose your progress, sure, but you're not going to make any progress either. So if you want to be consistently making progress, you have to be consistently showing up and just being there. And even if you don't have a lot to give one day, that's fine. Just give it what you have that day. And at least, at a minimum, like, go through the motions, put up your normal weights, and at least try, at least give it something. Because that something is better than nothing. Even if you like 80% a workout, that's still way better than if you hadn't worked out. So honestly, consistency is probably the biggest thing that, 1, people struggle with, and 2, that will allow you to see the most gains, because it's the hardest thing for a lot of people, just sticking to it. I will say, once you get into it and are consistently going, it does become a lot easier to stay consistent. Where, like, at the beginning, you might not enjoy it, but like now, I'll typically like won't feel good and possibly be a little agitated. Or honestly, I've noticed I'm even a little bit more tired if I don't go get my workout in. So for me now, it's like, it's worse to not go work out even when I don't want it. Like, I'd rather go push through the workout and just deal with it and then feel better afterwards, because you get all the endorphins, rather than just not do it. Obviously, I do take rest days, but okay. So those are the first 2 tips, and I will catch you guys at the third. Okay, so the next tip, or it's actually two that kind of go together, is form and intensity. So first of all, I'm just gonna do a bicep curl quick, and I'm gonna warm up and show you guys what good form would look like for something like this. So as you can see, my elbow is right next to my side, weights down here, standing tall, tight core, and then from here, curl up. And you can see my elbow's still in the same spot, and then down. So the whole point is you want to be training with good form because one, reduces risk of injury, and you'll actually train the muscle properly. Because one thing that a lot of people don't realize, so I'm gonna up the weight, show you the next one. But one thing a lot of people don't realize is when you're training with improper form, there's a good chance you're training, I won't say the wrong muscle, because you're still gonna hit that muscle, but you're training other muscles rather than the intended goal of whatever you're actually training. So that's one of the reasons that training with good form is actually so important, is so that you're properly targeting the correct muscle group that you're actually trying to train. I'm trying to think of a good example, but actually, you know what a good example would be? It would be a tricep pushdown. I see a lot of people in the gym. So we're doing a tricep pushdown. Typically on a cable, you'd stand something like this. And then from here, push down, up, down, up. And that would be engaging your actual tricep. You'll feel it so much more when you do it like that. But there's so many people that they look like this, with their elbows are coming all over the place. And sure, you're definitely like somewhat getting, your triceps engaged right now. You're doing something, but you're not fully engaging your tricep in the proper way. So with that, you're just getting way less out of your training than if you were actually training with good form. So form to me is one of the most important things because it allows you to stay safe, it allows you to hit the muscle properly, and those are two of the biggest things. So the next thing is intensity. So you saw me do a couple reps, that was my quick warm up. Because the other thing is I don't want to do too much right now because I'm actually about to go to the gym after this. But with intensity, you should be training hard. So two things that I do is one, for something like this, I wouldn't typically do a drop set because it's kind of hard. But for something like this, you could do maybe a rest pause set. So that would be hitting, let's say 10 reps, put the bar down, count to like 10, do 10 seconds, and then pick it back up, get a few more reps out. I do that a lot. When I can do a drop set, if you're on like a cable stack or an easier setup to take the weights off and on, you can do a drop set. If you don't know what that is, that's going from, let's say you're doing a tricep push down with 70 pounds, then you do your, let's say 9 reps. And then from there, second you fail or like can't do anymore, you drop the pin from 70 to, let's say 60, 50, somewhere around there, a little bit. And then you pump out like, let's say 4 more reps. So those are some intensity building techniques, but there's also just training with intensity. So I'm gonna show you that quickly, where when you're doing an exercise, you should have a number in mind. Like my goal for this in my head would probably be 10, but I'm just gonna go till I basically fail. So So with that, you see how I'm like, I'm truly fighting for that last rep. Like that last rep is not easy. Now, sometimes I would even try and pump out one more rep. I know I'm about to head to the gym and I'm literally hitting back and buys today. So I didn't want to go too crazy. And I still showed you what I meant by training intensely. But you have to be training hard. Like you just need to. If you're just training to a number, like thinking about it, I just did 60 pounds there, right? Yeah, 60. If I just started curling these 5-pound dumbbells and stopped at 10, guess what? Like I'm not gonna see any gains. This is not a strong enough weight stimulus for my body to adapt. So you need to train with actual intensity so that you can see results. Okay, so I have 2 final tips for this video. So the first one, I can't lie, you're gonna hear me say this and think that it's like stupid that I'm even mentioning it. I'm going to say it because you'd be surprised how many people don't follow this one. But genuinely, just make sure you're training like all of the major muscles in your body. Like, I'm not talking about like the really tiny muscles in your, like, the bottom of your feet and your hands. Like, I get that. But like, you should be training your chest, your triceps, your biceps, your shoulders, your back, your quads and hamstrings, and your calves. And probably your forearms. Like, please train all of the major muscles. You'd be amazed how many people like just won't train legs at all, or just like will leave out a muscle group because they think it doesn't matter, or like they'll want bigger arms and they'll be like, my biceps good enough, let me just train my tricep. Like, just train all of it. Like, genuinely, it was something I did at the beginning. Like, I just didn't understand. I think I didn't understand literally where the muscles were fully. Like, this was years ago at this point. Like, I just like didn't know what I was doing, and like I just wouldn't train shoulders like at all. I entirely neglected my shoulders. And it's just one of those things where like I wish now that it was probably like months of that where like I wish I had just trained shoulders. Like, looking back at it, I literally cannot even understand why I would have done something like that. But like, when you don't have the knowledge base, it kind of does make sense. You're just like, I don't care about it as much. Like, you don't understand the importance of it. So that is one. And I didn't even count that as one of the 5 in the video. That was just like a quick one that was a little bit more personal for me. And I also didn't include it, or that could be the 5th, however you want to label it. But the last one is genuinely the 3 things you need to like focus on, think about, whatever word you want to use like that, is obviously your training, which we've talked about. We talked about your diet a little bit, but just having like a high protein diet. If you're trying to add weight and put on size, you need to be in a calorie surplus, or if you're trying to lose weight in a calorie deficit. And then you need to have good sleep. Like, genuinely, if there's one thing you take away from this video, please let it be that the 3 most important things holistically to see growth and progress in the gym is diet, training, and sleep. Those are the 3 things that matter. So if you can just try and improve those, you will see progress. So just obviously we've talked about training, so I'm not going to go over that again. Diet, I just told you, high protein, calorie surplus or deficit, depending on what you're trying to do. Very basic diet stuff. I do have more in-depth diet videos if you want to check those out. And the last one, sleep. You want to get somewhere between like 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, 6 to 8, whatever number you actually want to use. I don't care. A quick thing is just know that no matter how, don't use sleep as the amount of time you were in bed. It's the amount of time you were actually asleep. So if you get in bed at, let's say, 11, and then you don't fall asleep till 11:45, your sleep starts at 11:45. So if you wake up at 7, that's only 7 hours and 15 minutes of sleep. And likely one thing that I realized when I started tracking my sleep using my Apple Watch a while ago, and I don't do it anymore, but I just remember looking at the data and noticing this, was however long I thought I was asleep for, I got about an hour less of sleep, 45 minutes to an hour somewhere. So, and once you realize that and you start going to bed a little bit earlier to compensate for that, you start getting so much better sleep. So that's just like a quick little thing on sleep. But these are, I guess, the 6 biggest things that I wish I had known about when I started training. If you just make these changes or implement some of these things, genuinely, you will 100% be able to see some gains, especially if you're a beginner, because if you're a beginner, you're just going to see gains pretty much no matter what. So as long as you're doing something. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next Sunday at 5 p.m. Get you there.